Hello and welcome to Bipolar Talks, your warm and mindful space where we explore the many dimensions of mental health, healing, and the human brain. Today we're delving into a condition that's often misunderstood, misused in casual language, and yet deeply impactful for those who live with it: Obsessive-Compulsive Disorder, or OCD. Before we begin, we kindly invite you to like, comment, subscribe, and share this episode. You never know. This simple action might bring clarity or hope to someone silently struggling. Now let's take a slow, deep breath together. This conversation may be heavy, but it's also empowering. So let's explore together with care and curiosity what OCD really is and why it matters. Let's start with something we hear all the time. "I'm so OCD about my closet," or "she's totally OCD about cleaning her desk." And while these statements are usually harmless in intent, they reflect a big misconception. Clinical OCD is not a personality quirk. It's not about being neat, clean, or organized. It's a neurological and psychological condition that causes deep emotional distress. It's marked by intrusive, unwanted thoughts called obsessions and repetitive behaviors or rituals, called compulsions, that people feel driven to perform to quiet those thoughts, even if only temporarily. But here's what's often overlooked. Instead of solving the problem, these compulsions actually make the obsessions stronger over time. It's like scratching an itch that only gets itchier the more you touch it. So let's ask ourselves, do we really know what OCD feels like from the inside? Or have we only scratched the surface? The inner experience, obsessions and compulsions in real life. Picture this: you're about to leave the house. Suddenly, a thought slams into your mind like a train. Did I turn off the stove? You check. It's off. You leave. Then the thought comes again. Louder. You go back. You check again. You try to leave. But something inside won't let you. What if something terrible happens? What if it's your fault? You check again and again until it feels just right. This is what many people with OCD experience. It isn't a preference for being thorough. It's not even a desire. It's a sense of threat, a tidal wave of anxiety that won't subside unless the compulsion is completed, sometimes multiple times. There are many types of OCD. Contamination OCD, fear of germs or illness. Checking OCD, checking locks, appliances, or mistakes. Symmetry OCD, needing things just right or aligned. Intrusive thought OCD, horrifying, taboo thoughts that cause shame. Magical thinking OCD, believing certain actions will prevent catastrophe. These obsessions are not reflections of the person's values. In fact, they usually go against the person's beliefs, causing guilt, fear, and even self-loathing. Have you ever felt controlled by a thought you didn't ask for and couldn't shake? The OCD brain circuit. What's going on inside? OCD isn't just emotional. It's also neurological. Scientists have found that people with OCD tend to have an overactive brain loop involving three major areas. 1. The cortex, your thinking and decision-making center. 2. The striatum helps you decide to act or hold back. 3. The thalamus filters information and decides what reaches your awareness. This loop, called the cortico-striatal-thalamic circuit, works like a misfiring alarm system. It keeps sending danger signals, even when everything is fine. Your brain tries to fix this with compulsions, but instead of shutting the alarm off, it just resets the timer. In some people, this loop is hyperactive by default, possibly due to genetics, early life experiences, or both. But knowing this gives us hope. If we can retrain the brain, we can reduce these signals. Doesn't it feel validating to know there's real science behind those overwhelming feelings? Treatments that actually work, CBT and medication. Here's the good news. OCD is treatable. While it might not always be fully curable, many people experience enormous relief through treatment. The gold standard is a combination of cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, especially exposure and response prevention, ERP, medication, often SSRIs, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. With ERP, the therapist helps you face the obsession without performing the compulsion. Over time, your brain learns that the feared consequence doesn't happen, and that the anxiety can fade on its own. Example: If you fear contamination, you might be guided to touch a doorknob and resist washing your hands. First, this feels terrifying, but with repeated practice, your brain relearns. I'm okay. I'm safe. I don't need to do this to survive. Medication, especially SSRIs, can reduce the intensity of intrusive thoughts and make it easier to engage in therapy. Some people also explore newer approaches like ketamine, TMS, or nutritional support. What if healing wasn't about getting rid of fear, but learning to live without fear running your life? Diagnosis: understanding the YBOCS scale. Clinicians use tools like the Yale-Brown Obsessive-Compulsive Scale, YBOCS, to assess OCD. But it's more than a checklist. It's a journey into the person's internal world. Questions explore frequency and severity of obsessions and compulsions, the level of distress they cause, how much they interfere with daily life, what specific fears are driving them. What's key in therapy is not just naming the behavior, but identifying the deepest fear behind it. I checked the stove. Why? I'm afraid I'll burn the house down. Why is that so terrifying? Because it would be my fault. I'd be responsible for hurting someone I love. This emotional core is what therapy works to address. Have you ever stopped to ask yourself, what's the real fear beneath this urge? The magic and challenge of exposure therapy. Exposure therapy may sound scary, but it's incredibly empowering. It's about teaching the brain that you can feel anxiety and survive it, that the thought is not dangerous, that the compulsion isn't necessary. Step by step, with support, people face the things they fear most and resist the urge to do the thing that used to bring temporary comfort. The goal isn't to feel better immediately. It's to build tolerance and let the anxiety pass on its own. With repetition, the brain quiets, the alarm slows, the loop loosens. Imagine no longer being held hostage by a thought. That freedom is possible and real. The role of homework in real-world practice. Therapy sessions are powerful, but real change happens between sessions. That's why ERP often includes homework, daily practice in the real world. At home, where rituals often began, triggers feel more intense. So practicing in your natural environment is crucial to retraining the brain. That might mean sitting with a messy desk, not washing your hands after a contaminated touch, or walking away after checking the door just once. Could facing a small fear each day help you reclaim your life, piece by piece? Supporting tools: mindfulness, lifestyle, and self-compassion. Mindfulness isn't a cure, but it's a powerful support. Learning to observe your thoughts without reacting is a skill that strengthens with practice. Sleep, nutrition, exercise, social connection. All of these help regulate the nervous system. A regulated nervous system is a stronger foundation for mental clarity and emotional flexibility. And above all, self-compassion matters. OCD is not your fault. You are not weak. You're doing your best with a brain that sometimes misfires, and there is no shame in needing help. Can you offer yourself the same kindness you'd offer a friend? OCD versus OCPD, the often confused cousins. Let's pause and clarify something important. OCD is not the same as Obsessive-Compulsive Personality Disorder, OCPD. OCD: unwanted, intrusive thoughts and distressing compulsions. OCPD: a personality style focused on perfection, order, and control, often seen as useful by the person. In OCD, people don't want their thoughts or behaviors. In OCPD, people often embrace their routines. Mixing them up can cause confusion, stigma, and misdiagnoses. So let's commit to using these terms with care and accuracy. Doesn't it feel good to bring clarity to something so often misused? Final words. You are not your thoughts. If you're living with OCD or love someone who is, please know this: you are not your thoughts. You are not your compulsions. You are not broken. Help exists. Healing is possible. Recovery isn't always fast or linear, but it's real. And every time you sit with discomfort instead of giving in, you are rewiring your brain for freedom. So here's our closing question for you. What's one small, brave step you could take this week toward your own peace of mind? Thank you for joining us today for this heartfelt and mindful episode on obsessive-compulsive disorder, right here on Bipolar Talks. We hope you feel more informed, more empowered, and most of all, less alone. If this episode touched you, please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Let's keep building a world where mental health conversations are compassionate, clear, and courageous. And just a friendly reminder, this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only. Always speak with a licensed professional for diagnosis or treatment. Until next time, stay kind to your mind, and may your healing be gentle and strong.